Hi, welcome back. This week's reading vlog I'm actually a little bit scared of. So I got one of my friends to choose from my list of unfinished series and she picked a number. The number on that list is what I'm reading. So what I'm reading, Onyx Storm. And I don't think I'm prepared. I am also quite worried that because I read Fourth Wing and Iron Flame when I was kind of just getting back into reading, I'm worried that my taste might have changed a little bit and I'm slightly worried that I'm not going to enjoy it. I wanted to reread Fourth Wing and Iron Flame before I got to Onyx Storm, but that hasn't happened. So let's see. It is about 4 hours later and I haven't actually had a chance to start the book yet. School cannot go back quick enough. I'm so over the summer holidays. But what I am also mainly worried about with this, I don't think I can remember what actually happened at the end of Iron Flame. I've got like vague memories, but I'm really not too sure, so I'm hoping there's some sort of recap at the start of this. So I've given up somewhat and my mate has sent me the cliff notes of Iron Flame so that I can refresh my memory, because as I was reading it I realised I remembered nothing. Right, I think I'm up to date. I think I understand as much now as I did at the end of Iron Flame, which I'll be honest, I was slightly confused by bits then, but we can move. I know enough now to kind of read on and progress. So 2 chapters in, what I do have to say, and I realise this is also how I felt about Iron Flame, I'd kind of forgotten. I don't always understand what Rebecca Yarros is talking about. It almost feels sometimes like she's trying to create too big of a world and forgets the details, or in the same way puts a lot of details in but there isn't enough overall picture, so it's quite hard to place what certain things mean and what certain things are. I don't really understand the whole channeling from the earth thing that's made Xaden how he is now, and there are certain like things get said and then it's like, and Violet stepped back in shock and I'm like, sorry, why's that so bad? Like, I've kind of said it before in other books, I like world building, I like epic world building. So if I don't get it, it kind of just feels off to me. But so far, we're enjoying it. Violet's just had her meeting with all of the nobles to discuss going out to find Andana's family and her nest for this 7th breed of dragons. And she went in with a list of demands. Gave said list of demands to them. They went no, and she went, oh shit, okay. Like, I get that she kind of felt she had the upper hand and they would just agree to it, but I also don't feel like she's pushed for her demands to be met at all. It's very odd. Good evening, so we are back. So last night I got to page 59. Not the greatest reading sprint. I don't know if I've mentioned it on here, but so I've got a 6-year-old, but he's autistic and does not deal well with commands. He's got demand avoidance as his sort of profile type, and at the minute bedtimes are a struggle. So I can get him in bed and he'll stay there for like an hour easy enough, and then I basically have to lie with him till he falls asleep, which sometimes it's like an hour, which is fine, and then get my evening back. Other times I fall asleep in there as well, and it's like 3 a.m. and I wake up, I'm confused, I don't go back to sleep for a while. But so yeah, last night was one of those nights, so I really didn't get much read. It's really annoying because it is now, what day are we on? Wednesday, and I want to have this finished by Sunday because I don't like carrying books over into a new month anyway, and the fact that September starts on a Monday just feels like it should be a very nice, clean, fresh start with everything. So little one is in bed. I'm gonna try and read another 50 pages or so until I go in and lie with him for a bit, see if we get any further. Tomorrow I am taking him to see Beebe's Land, so I am hoping that absolutely tires him out and I can get a good chunk read tomorrow, but we shall see. So I am going to put at the start of this video that there may be spoilers, just because I'm aware that people haven't necessarily all read this yet. I mean, I know it came out in January, but it's August and I'm only just reading it. So, but we have just got to the point where she's found out that Xaden has been given his crown back and he's now the Duke of Tyrrendal, and she is about to go on her little quest to find Andana's family. So we'll see where I can get to. Go back to the start to check what people's signets are. But it is quite handy that they have listed them at the start. I should have reread the first 2 books. I had genuinely forgotten how awful Daenerys' dad is. Like, he's actually repulsive. He's just bullying them. Also forgotten how funny Riddock was and how funny Andana is when she gets all sassy with Ten. Big fan of that. Completely forgotten. Just dislocated a knee, and I am absolutely fine with gore. Doesn't bother me. I watch a lot of medical dramas, don't gross me out. I can watch horror films, I can watch, just doesn't bother me. Bones, I don't know what it is, but actually make me feel ill, and the fact it's just quite graphically described, her dislocated knee, I feel unwell. I'm having to now go backwards because apparently Theophany, or however we're saying that name, called Garrick a Walker, but when? So that's when she's knocked down. You, I'm curious about, leaving admit to wanting, considering all that power, not to mention being an effective lease, but him. Let's not compare weapon. Our paths are too intertwined to begin with such hostility. I know. You answer a single question and I'll return the walker to the ground. Right. That's fine. I was just very confused. And that's kind of my issue with Rebecca Yarros. It sounds really weird to say she uses a lot of words, but she does use a lot of words, and I don't think she always uses them that well. I think the way she tells a story, you're kind of immersed in it, and that's what makes her books good, and that's what I think has worked to get so many people into fantasy from reading them, because you are fully immersed into it. But I don't think she necessarily tells the story in a way that you can very easily follow it. I think it's almost like a sensory overload. You're just there, so you get invested rather than feeling everything that's actually going on, if that makes sense. But I do think I'm also maybe in a minority with that, because I told a couple of friends that I didn't cry when Liam died the other day, and I got asked if I was actually alive or if I was heartless. So it may be one of my controversial book opinions. And just to really round off Atos's evilness, he's smirking about sending 2 little orphaned 7-year-old boys home. He's so mean. So I got to page 110, which is my first sort of target. So I don't know if anyone else does it, but I just put a bookmark where I want to read to, and then I feel like I'm sort of chasing myself. But yeah, it's on there. I don't know. I'm into it. I'm enjoying reading it. I'm definitely not as I have been about some reads this year. The closest I've got to that is the little blurb bit at the top of chapter 13, where it says, upon failure of 3 exams, Jacinia Neilwater has been removed from the adept path and stripped of all its responsibilities and sacred privileges as of January 15th. I don't feel like we knew that already. I don't feel like that's been mentioned. Whether it's a ploy for something, whether we're going to find out more about it. But I feel like that's a little bit shocking. But I do like Jacinia. But yeah, 110. Hopefully I get to read a little bit more in a bit. But now I have to go and try and get my child to sleep. See you soon. So it is Saturday. I have not read anything since Wednesday night. We went to Alton Towers on Thursday, got back, and my child was just hyped up. He was not as exhausted as I wanted him to be. And then yesterday, it was Friday, it was just a long day with him again, and I didn't get a chance to read. So we are still at page 110 of Onyx Storm. However, my son is now at his dad's. It is about 6:30 on Saturday night. I have put some lovely ambient music, sounds on YouTube. So I'm going to pretend I'm in a nice little stormy environment, although it's not far off outside. It's very windy and grey and rainy. It's delightful. I'm so happy summer's over. And I am going to crack on for the next few hours and try and make a decent chunk into this book. And we shall see where I get to. So I've just had to do a sort of quick glance through to see where I got to. They have just been down to speak to Jack and given him some sort of metal that's gonna keep him alive for another week because he was on his last legs. And I think the plan is just to keep going and questioning him so that Violet can try and get a cure for Xaden. Bless me. And then I was at the start of chapter 13 and was in shock because it says about Jacinia failing some of her exams. Like I said before, I don't think we've heard that before. I think that is brand new information. But yeah, chapter 13, I'm going to do an hour and then I will check in again. Good morning. I was just bad at filming these vlogs this week. So last night I read about 20 pages and then ended up being on the phone for 4 hours. So I then got in bed, read another 50 pages or so, and then crashed out because it was about 1:30. I woke up this morning. I'm looking fabulous, as you can tell, but I have now made it 50% through. So, here are my thoughts so far. I am struggling with this book. Oh, there's my hand. Yeah, I am struggling. There is a lot of words and not a lot of stuff happening. I feel like Rebecca Yarros is introducing a lot of stuff and a lot of people and not adequately explaining them or what's going on. I don't know if it would have been easier to absorb if I had recently read Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, but I also feel like if you're that invested in a book, then the basics sort of stay with you. So I am struggling. We have just got to the point that they are in Umbriel and they have just realised that all the tenants have all got silver hair, like they. So I'm hoping that this book is now going to pick up and stuff is going to happen. Because at the minute, it just feels like a slog to read. It's probably not helping that I've given myself a time frame and I've got a deadline. But yeah, so my plan for the day, I'm about to get up, get ready. I need to take a load of stuff to the tip because my house is just full of cardboard boxes from deliveries. I am then going to get a McDonald's for my lunch because it's next to the tip. I am then going to get home and just crack on. My son will be home probably about 4ish, but hopefully sort of between parenting and once he's in bed, my aim is to finish this today. And it is possible. If I get invested in it, I've got like 260 pages left. I mean, that is absolutely doable. The problem is that I keep getting so easily distracted because I'm not invested in this book. But we shall see. So I've been to the tip. I'm sat with McDonald's. That was absolutely just what I needed. This milkshake is so thick I can't really get it through the straw. It's everything I wanted and more. I have been thinking about Onyx Storm since I left the house, and I think I've come to a conclusion. I think the reason I'm struggling with it is because I'm just getting Harry Potter vibes from it, which now seems like a theme because this is what I said about Silvercloak, but Silvercloak gave me good Harry Potter vibes. This is giving me, why am I reading this, Harry Potter vibes. It's the whole we're on a secret quest that some of the grown-ups know about but not all of them, and we're going to deviate slightly from what they've said. We've only told people half the story, and I get that that isn't a sort of specific theme in a sort of fantasy book. It is quite generalised, but there is just something that is giving me Harry Potter, it can only be me type vibes to it. I also think I am aware in the back of my head that these people are all in their 20s, but it's not mentioned enough for it to really sink in. So then when it talks about first, second and third years, again, I am just seeing 11-year-olds trying to save the world, and that isn't helping the Harry Potter. But we shall continue when I get back. Like I said, I'm now 50% of the way through. Hopefully I'll get it finished today. I'll be back. So they've just left a notice and things are finally starting to happen. I think I may actually be beginning to enjoy this book. I'll be honest, that shouldn't be starting to happen on page 320, but we are where we are. Yeah, big fan of how that chapter went. It was actually exciting. I was actually invested. It's the first point in this book that I felt like I actually cared about what happened to any of them. And now they have just got to Zinal, and everyone is lining the streets, seems excited to see them, and they've just got their magic back. So hopefully now it's just going to pick up pace and be even more eventful, because stuff needs to happen. This book is slow, and it's not got slow in a good way. Like, I do think that if I'd have reread Fourth Wing and Iron Flame before starting this, then my opinion might have been slightly different, and I might have been able to follow it all a bit more, and it would have felt more cohesive. But you shouldn't have to reread the precursor books every time a new one comes out. Like, you should want to read them, but you shouldn't have to. And I genuinely felt a bit lost through a lot of this. I think what Rebecca Yarros has tried to do is create a very large world, which is great. I just don't necessarily think she's created it very well. I think there would be better ways to do it, and I think maybe Fourth Wing was the start of the problems, because I think that she made so much happen in Fourth Wing that she's then had to try and keep all these events keep happening, whereas in reality Fourth Wing should have maybe just been a complete world builder with no real events happening in it, and then everything else could maybe have been paced a little bit better. But let's see what happens in Zinal. Arik getting annoyed with them on every aisle and showing that he can speak every language fluently, I am living for. I love it. Okay, so it's 11 o'clock. I started doing bedtime at 7:15, and my son has just fallen asleep. Additional needs are not for the week, but I have got like 80 pages left of Onyx Storm, so we are going to crack this out tonight, because I don't want this in my life anymore. And it's upsetting me because I want to love it. I really, really do. I'm not going to write it off completely. At some point, I am going to reread all of them and see if that changes my opinion. But I'm just not invested. I feel like it's got so much potential. But Xaden's brooding is just starting to annoy me now. Like, I'm hoping he's about to get better, because he has finally realised that there is a point in trying. So he's got a little bit more positive about things. Violet is she's annoying me. I feel like there was so much discourse around Rebecca Yarros's foreshadowing that she's now trying to write everything in a way that makes people go, oh, what does that mean? And it's almost a little bit like, you know, when you're in school, you're doing like GCSE English, and you have to write essays on why the fact that it's raining represents their moods type thing. It's starting to feel like that. Like, where everything has to be something else. Can't just be what it is on the page. I just feel like there's trying to be too much meaning behind everything. But what I will say is, with the little, they're not called epilogues, are they? What are they called? The little, like the quotes at the top of each chapter. The one for the last chapter was, Asher returned today. God's help us if anyone finds out. I'm not going to forgive him for what he's done to her. So I can only assume that this is going to be why Violet has silver hair. Which, again, is great if we're getting an answer to that. But also, like, these parents that she apparently loved and loved her just lied to her like her entire life. There's just too many secrets happening now. But last 80 pages. And I've just realised that I should probably tell you where I'm at in the book, because otherwise this is even less interesting than it might be anyway. So they've just had the battle of Heretia, however we're saying that, and Dana has gone back with the Irids. So Violet is now in bed grieving. She's not leaving her bed for 3 days apparently. Yeah. So we're there. So at least the wards back up, they're stronger. The Epony did one because she realised the wards were coming up. And I can only assume we're getting up to some other cliffhanger ending. But here we go. So, Mira has just found out about Xaden. And it's the same conversation we've had 3 times already in this book. It's the same reaction that Riddoch had. It's the same reaction that Rhee had. Could have just told them all in one go. Book would have been 100 pages shorter. The Epony just slit Mira's throat. I just don't care. And I'm really sorry, because this is like the second vlog where I've had very similar opinions on the characters. But yeah, I'm not attached to them. And that makes a problem, really. The same setting in a different book, I'd be devastated. I just don't care. big fan of Bodhi referring to Xaden as the Duke of Angst. Big fan. I know I've said I'm not really invested in anyone in this book, but Imogen and Quinn, that's just got me. That seems unfair that that's happened. I'm really sad about that. So I've just finished it. Like, I feel like I'm really missing something. Like, certain things have now fallen into place from like videos I've seen online, but like videos where people was about how emotional the ending was and how in shock they were, and I just don't care. I'm just not bothered. It all just, I don't know, it doesn't land with me. And I really want to enjoy it. And I feel like I should love it and I should enjoy it. But there is really something about these books that just doesn't sit with me. Like, I feel like at the end of that, I should very much be like, oh my God, what is going to happen? I need book 4 now. And I just don't care. I'll give it a 3-star for now. Because I'm on the fence. Because I do, like I said, I'm going to reread all 3 of them and see if reading them in one chunk changes anything. But then should I? Like, am I trying to force myself to like something because it's really popular? And should I just accept that this isn't one for me?